God will make a way where there seems
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Oh, glory to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Please forgive my offenses.
We have no offense. Madhusidhana Vishnu Prabhu was trying, he has been trying since Sunday. I don't know what has happened. Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to you, all glory to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Please, we are waiting for the teacher. He has been there trying to enter, but he didn't have access to the. Was trying to I don't know what has happened.
Okay, let me try to see if we can contact him.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Please, we are waiting for the teacher. He has been there trying to enter, but he didn't have access to the. Was trying to I don't know what has happened.
Okay, let me try to see if we can contact him. I'm contacting him already. Okay, let me try to see if we can contact him. I'm contacting him already.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna, just hold on. I'm trying to get Madhusidhana Prabhu.
Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna, just hold on. I'm trying to get Madhusidhana Prabhu. Hare Krishna, she can't pray, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I've sent him. Okay, I think he has come now.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
they said they were in another. They were in a class in another through another link.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Madhusidhana Prabhu, please
Hare Krishna.
accept my respectful obeisance to Guru Prabhupada.
Hare
Sorry for the late opening of the platform. There is some kind of miscommunication. So, yeah, I sent him. Okay, I think he has come now. Yeah.
They were in another. They were in a class in another through another link.
Yes. Actually, we joined to another link. Myself, Raganuga Prabhu, and Ashwini Kumar Prabhu, and we already discussed one verse also.
Sorry for that. It was just a communication gap. I think we'll avoid that next week.
Yes.
Tomorrow you are going to Sunday. You're going to be using your other link.
Yes.
Saturday we'll use this link until the end of the section.
So please do a favor.
Tomorrow is 7:30. Is the same time, 8:30 Nigerian time, 7:30 Ghana time.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I just request one favor from you, Prabhu. Before the class begins, you can just repost the link, even if it's the same link, so that there's no confusion. We join using the current link.
Okay.
So on Saturday you post your link, on Sunday you post my link. In that way, there won't be any confusion for the students.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll make sure to do that, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for the confusion. Okay, so welcome all the devotees. Actually, I was wondering what happened. Only 2 are present. What happened to the rest?
That's why we're waiting here.
So now we already covered one verse. We'll redo that, no problem. So quick prayer we'll sing. Om Jnanati Mirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminita Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachadine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we'll quickly do that verse again. We were doing chapter 7, verse number 23. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati alpamedasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their foods are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Same theme is being continued here. Last time when we stopped the discussion, we were discussing about those people who surrender to someone who is not God. Previously, Krishna mentioned 4 kinds of people surrender to me. Then the theme moved on to the next section of people who surrender, but not to God. To those who are having some powers of God in minute sense, the demigods. So why then that demigod worship is not so much appreciated by Krishna? The reason is being given. These people have less intelligence. They worship the demigods for some temporary benefit, and they get the temporary benefit and finish. No permanent asset is there. So that's why this is not so intelligent. Now, purport. Raganuga Bhakti Prabhu already read it now. So once someone else can read it again quickly, the purport 7.23. Yes, Ramachandra Prabhu.
Some commentators on Bhagavad Gita says that one who worships a demigod can reach the supreme. But here it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigods go to the different planetary system, where various demigods are situated, just as the worshipper of the sun achieve the song of worshiper or achieve the moon. Similarly, if anyone wants to worship a demigod like me, he attained the particular God's planet. It is not that everyone, regardless of whatever demigod is worshipped, will reach the supreme personality of Godhead. That is the demand here. For it is clearly stated that the worshipper of demigods go to the different planets in the material world, like the devotee of the Supreme Lord go directly to the Supreme Planet of the personality of Godhead. Here, the point may be arrived that if the demigods are different parts of the body of the Supreme Lord, then the same end should be achieved by worshiping them. However, worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent because they don't know what parts of the body food must supply. Some of them are so foolish that they claim that here are many paths and many ways to supply food. This isn't very sound view. Can anyone supply food to the body through the ear or the eyes? They do not know that these demigods are different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. And their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is a separate God and God, the teacher of the Supreme Lord. Not only the demigods parts of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities are also. In the same Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Brahmanas are the head of the Supreme Lord, and the Kshatriyas are his arms, and the Vaishyas are his wrists, and the Shudras are his legs. All serve different functions. The guidance of the situation. If one knows that both the demigods and he himself are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, his knowledge is perfect. But if he does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigods reside. This is not the same distinction the devotee reaches. The results achieved by demigods, the conditions are perishable. Because within this material world, the planets, the demigods, and their worshippers are all perishable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that all results achieved by worshiping demigods are perishable. And therefore, such worship is performed by the less intelligent living entity, because the pure devotee engaged in crucial consciousness and devotional service of the Supreme Lord achieves internal blissful existence that is full of knowledge. These achievements and use of the common worshippers of the demigods are different. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. His favor is unlimited. His mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of the Supreme Lord upon his pure devotees is unlimited. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me? Prabhu, from next time, make sure your mic is not, touching other things because it creates noise then. Background noise. So much noise. Okay. So next verse. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayaha param bhavam ajananto mamavyayam anuttamam. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So you see, in the previous verses, Lord Krishna called worshippers of demigod as less intelligent. But here Krishna is talking about another category of people and is calling them not at all intelligent, unintelligent. Abhutayaha, no intelligence at all. Why no intelligence? Because they think that the Lord was impersonal before. Now he has accepted a form, a temporary form, and in future again he'll be impersonal. So here it is being spoken about whom? The Mayavadis. The Mayavadis, they think that Krishna's form is material form or a temporary form. God cannot have a form. They think like that. So their understanding is when God comes to this world, he accepts a body like we accept a body. made up of blood, bones, etc. So they cannot understand that Krishna's body is transcendental, spiritual, non-material. Cannot understand. Now, why someone ends up thinking like that? Let God have no form. Why? Why deny God a form? Why deny God a form? What could be the reason? God doesn't have a form.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Maybe they want the superiority than the God.
Okay, very good. What else? They want superiority. They want to say that we have a form, God does not have a form.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Maybe they want the wealth and some material enjoyment.
Okay.
Different types.
Not exactly. Not in this case. Raganuga Prabhu.
Okay. They believe that the Supreme God is everywhere. Therefore, having a form, they think will limit him. For instance, when humans have a form, there are so many things you can't just even pass through a building, and you can also see someone in the next town. So they think if God has a form, then God will be limited. He will not be all powerful. But when he's formless, when he's in a spirit form, then he will know everything and he can see everything. So I think that's how they are somehow confused.
Very good. So what you said is on the logical platform. On the logical level, this is correct. That how can someone who is everywhere have a form? But behind this logic, there is something very subtle. And what is that subtle thing? Srila Prabhupada mentions that. That subtle thing is envy. Envy of whose envy? Envy towards God. They envy God. How is it an envy? Like, for example, if a person is very beautiful and you are envious of that person, then what will you want? Let that person not remain beautiful. Because if that person loses his or her beauty, I'll be satisfied. Okay. So because they have envy towards Krishna, if Krishna is going to have a form, Krishna is going to enjoy. Why God should enjoy? Why God should be beautiful? Why God should be powerful? Why should God have all the wealth? So if you give someone an identity, that means you accept that person as an authority. And they don't want to do that. So that's why they say, let God be without a form. We don't want to accept a form. So this impersonalism, the root of impersonalism is desire to enjoy, and at the same time, not be accountable for it. If you accept God with a personal form, then you have to accept so many other things. If you don't accept God with a personal form, then you can let go of that. No problem. So this envy makes us think like that. Now, same principle can also be brought to the relationship between a disciple and a guru. A disciple or a devotee may say, why surrender to a person as a guru? Just surrender to the institute. Join the institute, and then you practice what is being taught in the institute, and then you can in that way attain God. No need to surrender to one person. Now, surrendering to institute is very easy because it's impersonal, right? But then surrendering to a person, accepting a person and being accountable to that person, that is a difficult thing. So the root of Mayavad is envy. Envy towards Krishna, envy towards God. We want to deny God of certain things, because if we say God has those things, then we'll have to naturally become subordinate to God and become a servant, which Mayavadis don't want to do. So that is the reason here. That's why impersonalists are considered as the lowest type of transcendentalist. Better than impersonalists are demigod worshippers. At least they accept form. But impersonalists, they don't even accept form. Okay, purport, long purport. Someone can kindly read this purport nicely, loud and clear.
Those who are worshippers of demigods have been described as less intelligent persons, and here the impersonalists are similarly described. Lord Krishna, in his personal form, is here speaking before Arjuna, and still, due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. Yamu Acharya, a great devotee of the Lord in the disciplic succession, Uja Acharya, has written a very appropriate verse in this connection. He says, "My dear Lord, devotees like Vyasadeva and Narada know you to be the personality of Godhead. By understanding different Vedic literatures, one can come to know your characteristics, your form, and your activities. And one can thus understand that you are the supreme personality of Godhead. But those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, the demons, the non-devotees, cannot understand you. They are unable to understand you, however expert such non-devotees may be in discussing Vedanta and the Upanishad and other Vedic literatures. It is not possible for them to understand the personality of Godhead. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by study of the Vedanta literature. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord can the personality of the Supreme be known. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated that not only are the worshippers of the demigods less intelligent, but those non-devotees who are engaged in Vedanta and speculations on Vedic literature without any changing of truths of true Krishna consciousness are also less intelligent. And for them, it is not possible to understand God's personal nature. Persons who are under the impression that the absolute truth is impersonal are described as Abu Daya, which means those who do not know the ultimate future of the absolute truth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that supreme realization begins from the impersonal Brahman and then rises to the localized supersoul. But the ultimate word in the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. Modern impersonalists are still less intelligent, for they do not even follow their great predecessor, Sankaracharya, who has specifically stated that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Impersonalists, therefore, not knowing the supreme truths, think Krishna to be only the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, or a prince or a powerful living entity. This is also condemned in the Bhagavad Gita. Avayanati mam muda manusim tanu asritam. Only the fools regard me as an ordinary person. The fact is that no one can understand Krishna without rendering devotional service and without developing Krishna consciousness. The Bhagavatam confirms this. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussing Vedic literature. One must understand him by devotional service. When one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then only can one understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-devotee impersonalists think that Krishna has a body made of this material nature and that all his activities, his form, and everything are Maya. These impersonalists are known as Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth. The 20th verse clearly states, Kamais tai ta trata jana prada diante nya divata. Those who are blinded by lusty desires surrender unto the different demigods. It is accepted that besides the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are demigods who have their different planets, and the Lord also has a planet, as stated in the 23rd verse. Divan diva ya yo yanti mad bhakta yanti mam api. The worshippers of the demigods go to the different planets of the demigods, and those who are devotees of Lord Krishna go to the Krishna local planets. Although this is clearly stated, the foolish impersonalists still maintain that the Lord is formless and that these forms are imposition. From the study of the Gita, does it appear that the demigods and their abode are impersonal? Clearly, neither the demigods nor Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are impersonal. They are all persons. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has his own planet, and the demigods have theirs. Therefore, the monistic contention that ultimate truth is formless and that form is imposed does not hold true. It is clearly stated here that it is not imposed. From the Bhagavad Gita, we can clearly understand that the forms of the demigods and the form of the Supreme Lord are simultaneously existing, and that Lord Krishna is Sachi Ananda, eternal blissful knowledge. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Absolute Truth is Ananda Mayo Vyasat, or by nature full of blissful pleasure, and that he is the reservoir of unlimited auspicious qualities. And in the Gita, the Lord says that although he is Acha, unborn, he still appears. These are the facts that we should understand from the Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be impersonal. The imposition theory of the impersonalist monist is false as far as the statements of the Gita are concerned. It is clear herein that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Krishna, has both form and personality. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So pretty long purport. Anyone has any confusion in this? Though it is long, but Prabhupada has made it very clear, all the concepts. So
Please,
can
I
yes,
ask
Prabhu.
a question?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Yes, my question is, when one says to have a full knowledge of Krishna, what do we actually mean? To have full knowledge of Krishna, what do we actually mean?
So in chapter 13, Arjuna will ask this question: what is knowledge? And then Krishna gives the answer. One who knows three things. One who knows Krishna, the supreme controller. One who knows living entity, Jiva, and one who knows material nature, Prakriti. That person has complete knowledge. Okay? Knowing these three things and knowing the relation between these three things, that is complete knowledge. Which means knowing matter, knowing soul, and knowing super soul. And knowing the connection, relationship between them. If one knows all this, one has complete knowledge. Okay?
Right, thank you.
Yes. Raganugavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada made mention of Sankaracharya, and he says that he is the predecessor for the modern personalists. I would love you to comment or elaborate on this personality for me, Sankaracharya. Who is he, and why is it the predecessor for the impersonalists? Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. Nice question. So Adi Shankaracharya, basically in the scriptures, it is given Adi Shankaracharya is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Okay. So in Padma Purana, it's mentioned. Now, it's a big topic. The question which you asked, it's a big topic in itself. So I'm just telling in brief. But then if you like, I have given a 90-minute talk on this topic. It's a video on YouTube. I can share the link with you. And later on, you can hear that whole thing. Because we don't have so much time to discuss now. So Adi Shankaracharya is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. And he came after Lord Buddha came. Okay. So he had to teach a philosophy which is a kind of a bridge between Buddhism and Vaishnavism. Buddhism is zero. Vaishnavism is God and me are two different. Okay. So Shankaracharya had to come and create a bridge between these two philosophical schools. So he preached the philosophy of impersonalism, which is one. Are you understanding? Buddha, zero. Vaishnavas, two. And Shankaracharya came and taught the philosophy, which is one. Monism, everything is one. You know? So he created a bridge between these two philosophies. Now, why he did that? Because in Kali Yuga, there are people who are demoniac in nature, but they profess themselves as religious people. Means they are demoniac, but they will show that we are followers of religion. Lord Krishna wanted to separate all those people from the sincere worshippers of Lord Krishna. So he inspired Shankaracharya to preach impersonalism, so that those who are attracted to impersonalism, they will all go to the side of Shankaracharya. And those who are Vaishnavas, they will all come on another side. In this way, it will be very clear that these are Vaishnavas, these are not Vaishnavas. Though they may also follow the Vedas, but they are not Vaishnavas. They are not devotees of Krishna. They are followers of Veda. So to create this very clear division, that was done. Now in detail, as I said, you please go through that lecture. I cannot explain fully now. It's a big discussion, the whole concept behind that. So this is the reason. So Shankaracharya is a Vaishnava who preached, not Vaishnavism, who preached, impersonalism, So that he did as a service to Lord Krishna. And then the followers of Shankaracharya, they took away the one aspect of Shankaracharya, that he is impersonalist. They did not take the other aspect, that Shankaracharya was a Vaishnava, was a devotee. So then they started following impersonalism. They consider Shankaracharya as their guru or acharya. Okay? Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next verse. We move to the next verse. Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavitaha mudayam nabijanati lokomam ajam avyayam. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. They are covered by Krishna's internal potency. That's why they cannot understand that Krishna is infallible and Krishna is unborn. Krishna is transcendental. Yes, someone please read this. Mataji, would you like to read?
It may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth, then how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishupal spoke against Krishna's being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the supreme god. Similarly, Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and the common man. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, but for his pure devotee, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as the reservoir of all pleasure, but to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his internal potency. In the prayers of Kunti in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.90, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. The Yogamaya's curtain is also confirmed in Ishopanishad Mantra 15, in which the devotee prayers Heran Hare Krishna. Oh my Lord, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, and your devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by Yogamaya. The Brahmajyoti is the covering of the internal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchit Ananda Vigraha, your eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge, is covered by the internal potency of the Brahmajyoti. And the less intelligent impersonalists cannot see the Supreme on this account. Also, the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.7, there is this prayer by Bhishma, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Master of all mystery, O who can calculate your potency and pastime in this world. You are always expanding your eternal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learn scientists and learned scholars cannot examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potential, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is not only unborn but also aware, inexhaustible. His eternal form is bliss and knowledge, and his energies are all inexhaustible. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Next verse. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kashana. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. Me, no one knows. I know everyone. It's very simple to understand. Because God or Krishna is the origin of everything, he has to know everything. And because everything has come from him, how can anyone know him fully? Just like a father will know everything about his child, but a child will not know everything about the father. Because the child has come after the father. So like that, Krishna knows everything about everyone. But people, they don't know him fully. Not completely. Okay?
Prabhuji,
yes, Mataji.
That you say father knows everything, but the child do something wrong. Father force him to do the correct the things. But why everybody doesn't like Krishna doesn't give that intelligence to everyone to do the things like come in Krishna consciousness?
No, Krishna gives intelligence, but that person doesn't want. So Krishna gives intelligence based on what the person wants to do.
But he is the father of everyone, and father has
so
that.
He is the father of everyone, but he is not that kind of father who will force the child to do something. He will not force. Right? Any good father, if you see any father in this world also, that person would not like to force the child always.
But if the child is doing something wrong, the father has to force him.
No, then there is no love. Then the child will say, I'll leave my father, I'll go away. That any parent knows, no? That though there are people who are doing the job of parents in this world, they know they also have a limit. After that, they cannot tell the child. Specifically when the child is grown up. When the child is small, then parents tell everything, do this, do that. Once the child grows up, then the parent also has to become little detached. Okay, you do whatever you want to do. Now we cannot tell. So same thing. Krishna cannot force. If Krishna forces us to do something, that means then Krishna has to take away our independence. And if Krishna takes away our independence, then we are no longer Atma. Then we become matter. Soul means, Atma means, it has freedom. That freedom can be properly used or it can be misused.
I just want to ask one thing, that he want everybody should go to him. But why he's not given that from birth only they should do that? Why?
No, Mataji, you see, it's not, you are thinking God makes us do everything that we do. It's not like that. In this world, we do what we like to do. Because we have come to this world to be independent of Krishna. First of all, try to understand why people are in this world. Why are you in this world, and why am I in this world? And why all these people in this world? Why? Envy, first thing, right? So that envy is whose mistake? My mistake, Krishna's mistake.
My mistake.
My mistake, right? Now, I have come to this world to be independent of Krishna. For that, Krishna made this world. The purpose of this world is to allow those people who want to be independent to stay independent. That is the purpose of this world. After that, if someone wants to now again go back to original state, I don't want to stay independent. I want to now be your devotee again. Then Krishna will give help. It's not that Krishna is not going to help. But then if you say why others are not being helped by Krishna, the reason is the others don't want now. So Krishna cannot force them. Krishna will never force. They don't want to. When they will want to come back to Krishna, Krishna will send all the help.
For that, it takes time.
Yes, for some people, it will take a lot of time. Yeah. Some people will take a lot of time. What to speak of others? Why we are talking about others?
Okay. No.
What about ourselves also? Have we fully surrendered?
No.
Then, so just like we are not fully surrendering, and Krishna is giving us time. Krishna is patient with us. So the same thing, Krishna is also patient with other people. Let them take their time. Right? Yeah. So Krishna's position as father and mother is million times difficult than our position as mother and father in this world. We have only 1 or 2 children to take care of, handle. That also for just 30, 40 years. And then it becomes a headache for us. And for Krishna, it's like infinite number of people to take care of since time immemorial. So that's why he is very patient, waiting. When will this person want to change? Waiting for that. Once a person decides, I want to change, then Krishna will give all the help. Then Krishna will make all the arrangement, send devotees in the life of that person, make arrangements for that person. So many things Krishna does. Okay, someone please read the purport of this verse.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you. Here, the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were Maya, materia, as the impersonalists consider him to be, then like the living entity, he will change his body and forget everything about his past life. Anyone with a material body cannot remember his past life, nor can he foretell his future life, nor can he predict the outcome of his present life. Therefore, he cannot know what is happening in the past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, we cannot know past, present, and future. Unlike the ordinary human being, Lord Krishna clearly says that he completely knows what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. In the 4th chapter, we have seen that Lord Krishna remembers instructing Vivaswan, the sun god, millions of years ago. Krishna knows every living entity because he is situated in every living being's heart as the super soul. But despite his present in every living entity as super soul, and he is present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the less intelligent, even if able to realize the impersonal Brahma, cannot realize Sri Krishna as the Supreme Person. Certainly, the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not perishable. It's just like a sun, the sun. And Maya is like a cloud. In the material where we can see that there is the sun and that there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all this in the sky temporarily, but this covered is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, and stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. By his eternal potency, he is not manifest to the less intelligent class of men. As stated in the 3rd version of this chapter, Out of millions and millions of men, some try to become perfect in this form of life, this human form of life. And out of thousands and thousands of such perfected men, hardly one can understand what Lord Krishna is, even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma. He cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of God as Sri Krishna without being in Krishna consciousness. Hari Hari. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Now a question arises. Why? What is the reason that people are worshipping demigods? What is the reason that people are impersonalists? What is the reason that people are not surrendering to Krishna? What is the reason that they are covered by illusion? There's a cloud which is covering their intelligence. What is that cloud? So Krishna in the next verse gives the root cause of this problem. Ichcha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sargayanti parantapa. He says, O Seer of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arisen from two things, desire and hate, Ichcha and Dvesha. These two words define the problem because of which we are in the material world. Two things. We like certain things and we dislike certain things. And what we like, that will help in our sense gratification. And what we dislike, that will not help in our sense gratification. Because of this, that person is actually away from reality. Illusion means what? Illusion means to not be able to see the reality, that is called illusion. One cannot see the reality, that is illusion. So why there is illusion? Because I like certain things. I am imagining that that thing will give me happiness. And I hate certain things because I am imagining that thing will become an obstacle in my sense gratification. And because of this imagination, I am not able to see the reality. To give an example, if a small child has, let's say, running nose and a lot of cough in the chest, okay? So in that situation, the reality is the child is sick, unhealthy, and the child should eat certain kind of food stuff, should not eat certain kind of food stuff, take medicine, and drink hot water, drink ginger tea, and become cured. But if that child now wants to eat an ice cream, okay, so that child will think, anything that facilitates my eating ice cream, I like it. And anything or anyone who becomes an obstacle to eating my ice cream, I hate it. Now, because of this attitude or approach, I like and I hate, the child is not able to see the reality, which is, I am sick now. I should not be eating an ice cream. I should not be eating an ice cream. So the living entities in this world, because they are so much stuck in this mentality of liking and not liking things, they are not able to see the reality is something different. The reality is, there is God, He is eternal, I am spirit soul, I am eternal, and happiness can only be experienced by this eternal living entity serving that eternal Supreme Lord. That's the only way to be happy. There's no other way to be happy. But one forgets that, and then one is running after the different ice creams in this world. This is my ice cream. This is your ice cream. I like this flavor. You like that flavor, And then today we like this flavor. Tomorrow we like some other flavor. So we are just having different ice creams, and we like that, and we don't like certain things. So one who is free from this mentality of liking certain things and disliking certain things for sense gratification, that person can come out of the cloud which is there on the mind and the intelligence. One cannot see the reality. One can come out of it. And as long as this is there, like dislike, that cloud will always be there. It's a cloud made by myself, not by someone else. Myself. That cloud will always be there. Okay, so this verse is very important. It is the key how to unlock the proper vision, outlook, how to look at things, how to see things. It doesn't mean now we should stop having all kinds of likes and dislikes. No, but the point is too much specific about those things for sense gratification. That's the problem. For the sake of sense gratification, being very specific about likes and dislikes. That is the problem, that is a big problem. Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, you have a question or comment?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. The desire, and you just explained, but how we know that one is good for us or is not good, like the correct or not correct example, I can say we can take any decisions or anything, but it will be good to we go to the Krishna consciousness like that.
Okay,
to,
now
decide, yes.
You are asking a decision about spiritual life?
Yes, the desires, when they mention here the desires and the determination, the service, just 1 minute, okay. The desires and the heads, but how we know the desires is come automatically in minds, so how we can control and to divert in the Krishna consciousness.
Very good, thank you, Prabhu. So you see, when we have a desire, if we don't have the intelligence to be able to decide whether this is a material desire or a spiritual desire, then we should check with our authorities, with our spiritual master, with our superior devotees who are there in the community. I have this desire. Is it going to be favorable for my spiritual life, or it is going to be unfavorable for my spiritual life? We should check. There's not one thing we should know. We cannot always come to a decision by ourselves. We have to take advice. We have to always consult with others, So we should consult in such situations, because our mind can cheat us, no? Like something may be bad for me, but our mind can tell this is good for you. Just like a small child, ice cream is bad, but the child will say, no, ice cream is very good. Ice cream is very nice, but then parent will say it's bad, doctor will say it's bad, few 4 people will say it's bad, then the child will say, okay, you all are telling, so maybe it's bad. Likewise, we may not ourselves understand always. That's why we have a spiritual master, a spiritual authority who can tell us, no, Prabhu, this is going to be very dangerous for your spiritual life. Don't go for it. Stay away from this thing. Like that. We have to check.
Okay.
Yes.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
I have a first question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. We know originally the living entity is pure. Yeah. And its constitutional position is to serve, like Krishna. So my question is, why the desire and the hate? How come desire and hate in this matter?
Okay. So you see, originally the living entity is pure, no doubt about it. But now that's again a very complicated subject matter. We won't get into detail depth of it because it's for Srimad Bhagavatam to discuss. How did the original, envy came? When did you eat the forbidden apple of envy? When did you eat that forbidden apple of envy? When did that happen? How did it happen? That's given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So here what we try to understand is, after the living entity has come to material world, okay, after the living entity has come to material world, then the living entity is on a lookout. This thing will make me happy. First thing is this thing will make me happy. All right. So you have a desire, and then what do you start hating? Anything that becomes an obstacle to achieve that desire becomes an object of hatred. Getting it? First is not hatred. First is desire. And when there is an obstacle in fulfilling that desire, that becomes an object of hatred. To give an example, I'll give you an example. Let's say a boy is walking on a street. And that boy happens to see a very beautiful young girl. Okay? Now that boy, let's say, becomes infatuated with that girl and now wants to propose that girl and wants to marry to that girl. It all started with what? It started with a desire. I want to marry this girl. But now there is a brother of this girl who is against this plan, who doesn't want the girl to get married to this boy. So this boy will now start hating that brother. Before meeting that girl, that boy had no relationship with brothers. There was no envy, there was no friendship, there was no hatred. It was neutral. But now because he wants to marry that girl and this brother of that girl is becoming an obstacle, he will start developing hatred towards that man. Oh, he's my enemy. He doesn't want me to get married to this girl. So hatred will come. Getting the point? So then that hatred is another complication, actually, another complication. It's a bondage. So this is how it happens with the living entity after coming to this material world. Because there is a constant struggle, competition is there. What I want to enjoy, someone else also wants to enjoy. So there is a competition. You know, it's not that, okay, you enjoy, you be the king. No, you want to enjoy something, someone else's eye is also there on that thing. That's how this world is, right? Everything what I would like to enjoy, there's someone else who also wants to enjoy that. So there's competition, there's hatred. But it began with a desire, a wrong desire. Got it? So then we become frustrated. Oh, I am competing, that person is competing. Why waste my time in this useless competition? You know, I don't want to compete anymore now. I want to stop competing now. Everyone in this world is actually lost in that competition. Everyone, since childhood, we are just competing with someone or other, you know, only competing for material enjoyment. For food, we are competing for land, for house, for bank balance, for property, for job opportunity, for employment, for power, position, competing, isn't it? So one then comes out of that, one who becomes free. Yes, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhuji.
Well, thank you. But my last question, does it mean before the living entity comes to the material world, he has some sort of inbuilt desire and some hate before coming here?
No, there is no inbuilt hate and there is no inbuilt desire. There is one thing which is inbuilt, which becomes the cause of all this problem. And what is that? A freedom which can be misused. Please try to understand, Prabhu. There is no wrong desire in spiritual world. There is no wrong desire. But there is one problem. There is one thing which can become a source of problem, and that is what? The freedom. With freedom comes the choice to misuse that freedom. Okay?
Misuse of freedom.
Freedom is there, and then there can be a misuse of that. Now one may say, how can the jiva misuse the freedom? But the point is, freedom means there is a choice to use and misuse. If one does not have the choice to misuse, then it cannot be freedom. Right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so the choice is there. So then when that misuse happens, then it's like step 1, step 2, step 3, fall down, fall down, fall down, fall down, and then we land up. Someone lands up in Africa, in West Africa, Ghana, someone in Nigeria, someone in India, someone in Brazil, someone in Russia, you know, in different places we land up. Our material journey begins. Okay, next. We read this. Did we read this purport? Yes. Did we read 7.27 purport? No. We did not.
Okay, let me read.
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. The real constitutional position of the living entity is that of the subordination, to the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from this pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand that Lord Sri Krishna appears by his eternal potencies. But those who are deluded by duality and nations think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in duality of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc. Thinking, this is my wife, this is my house. I am the master of this house. I am the husband of this wife. These are the dualities of the delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mama dridvrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So how to become free from that duality? By not stopping sinful life. Only such a person can become free from this duality. Otherwise, one will be always involved in this duality. So that is why the four regulatory principles are very essential, because that helps us to come out of that cloud which is on our mind and intelligence. Otherwise, that cloud will always be there. So one who has stopped sinful life and acting piously, that person can engage in Krishna consciousness with determination, steady determination, always. That is the solution. Perfect.
Prabhuji,
Yes, ma'am.
that dualities means, what is that? We are staying with our husband, children. So how we can not think of that?
No, duality here means, yes, one thing's good and bad. So now when you say we're staying in family life, so there has to be duality. Yeah,
yes.
It is there. So that's why it is said family life can also become a source of bondage. So that danger is always there. That is the question, no? The danger is always there, because now if, let's say I have material relationship, then I can become attached. So if I become attached, then that danger is always there. So the challenge is what? Challenge is you live in the mud, but live like a lotus. Don't become touched by the mud. That is the whole thing, which is difficult. But that is what Krishna is telling. What did Krishna tell Arjuna? Arjuna, I am not asking you to leave the battlefield. I want you to stay in the battlefield and still not be affected by it. And it is not only a challenge for Grihasthas. It is a challenge for anyone in material world. Like, to take an example of a sannyasi also. A sannyasi may not have a wife, may not have children, may not have, let's say, family relationship, but a sannyasi has disciples. Right? A sannyasi has disciples. So then a sannyasi can also become attached to disciples. Correct? So it's a difficult thing for anyone and everyone. For some it is more, for some it is less. But for all who are staying in material world, this challenge is going to be always there. That while living in matter, we have to stay aloof from matter. which is possible if we cultivate Krishna consciousness. Then it becomes possible. Otherwise, it's not possible. Otherwise, it's like impossible. How can we do? But by cultivating Krishna consciousness, it becomes possible. And one can still have a family, have a husband, have children. At the same time, one is only doing things as a matter of duty, not as a matter of attachment. These two are two different things. Dutiful action and action performed with attachment, two different things. So one can do it as a matter of duty. Krishna has put me in this position. I am in a woman body, I am married, I have a husband, I have children, I have family members. So I need to take care of them. But then I do that as a matter of duty. Right? And when I see things are not happening as my desire, then I don't become disturbed by it, knowing that this is what Krishna wants. Like, to give you an example, if a sannyasi or guru has 1,000 disciples, what will any guru want? All the disciples should become good disciples. Correct. But then will all the disciples be good disciples? No. So the guru also has to become a little detached. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my duty. Now, if this person becomes a good disciple, fine. If it doesn't become a good disciple, no problem. I have to tolerate. I have to do my duty. So likewise, parents have to do their duty. Wife has to do her duty. Husband has to do his duty. People have to do their duty, not out of attachment. Attachment, what is the difference between duty and attachment? One word is the difference. Attachment means I want to enjoy them. Duty means I want to serve them.
Yes, but if the opposite person want something like what I say, if they want something from us and we cannot do, it's like if our family is full of devotees, but if they want from me to do, and if we are like we don't want to do, it will create some differences in between that.
No, you are saying your family members are not devotees.
They are devotees. They are devotees. But even they know everything. But if they want something, we should do for them, and we are not able to do, then it will create some differences in that.
So why are we not able to do?
Like maybe it's not like I don't understand to say.
Now there can be reasons, like I don't want to do it because, let's say, I don't like to do it. One can be that reason. Another thing can be it is a wrong thing and I don't want to do it. The two different things, no? Yeah. One thing is that it's a wrong thing and it is not favorable for my Krishna consciousness, so I don't want to do it. But the other thing is that it is a right thing, but I don't like to do it. So now these are two different situations. These are two different situations. Correct? So if it is the first situation that it is a wrong thing which is not favorable for my Krishna consciousness, then I should sit with the family members and have a very healthy discussion about it. I should be able to explain to them that why this is not nice for me, why I think it is wrong. And the other reason, if let's say I don't like to do it, but what they're saying is correct, then one has to work on oneself, change oneself, compromise or change. So in a family life, this maturity has to be there amongst the family members, that they can openly discuss one another's feelings and hearts and what people, what inspires them in Krishna consciousness, what are their standards of Krishna consciousness. They should be able to discuss all this. That maturity has to be there in the family people, or even if they're devotees, it has to be there. Like it may be like, let's say the mother-in-law is a devotee, but not a very sincere devotee. And a daughter-in-law is a good devotee, very sincere devotee. So then the mother-in-law has to appreciate that. Okay, my standards are different, your standards are different. you know.
Understanding should be.
Understanding should be there. That has to be there. That has to be discussed and worked out. So open discussion should be there. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Anadi Nidhanam, Prabhu.
Anadi Nidanam Das, yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry for not putting the video on because the network here is very bad. That's why.
I understand, Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, my question is, as a living entity, we are part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And coming here to this material world, we know that we are facing a lot of dangers. In fact, every step there is danger. Are we in full knowledge that coming here to the material world, these are the sufferings we are coming to go through, and yet we decide to come here. And now that we are suffering, we are not in good condition, and yet we are calling on the Supreme Personality of Godhead now. So the key word here is that, are we aware that these are the situations that we are coming to face here in the material world, and yet we decided to come here?
No.
I hope you get
we are not aware.
Oh, okay, okay.
You're not aware.
Okay. Okay.
If you are aware, then you will not do it.
Oh, okay.
To give an example,
Okay.
Someone who has never taken drugs in life, that person does not know how bad it is if after one starts taking drugs.
Okay.
But that person once starts taking drugs, then person then realizes, oh, this is something very bad mistake which I did. Right?
Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
So this knowledge is not there. Then that is the whole point. That when there is a temptation, where there is a temptation of Maya, all the memories of good things become erased. We forget everything.
Okay.
And when the temptation is there, and then later on we realize. So this is the point.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Let's move to the next verse. No, we have to do the translation. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this, and his sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Someone please read the purport. Anadi Nidanam Prabhu, would you like to read?
Unfortunately, I don't have the detail here personally, that's why. I've traveled, that's why. Yes, the detail is on the phone. Okay, it's on the phone. That means I have to switch on to the phone.
No problem. Someone else can
read, yes. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Those eligible for admission to the transfer position are mentioned in this verse. For those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful, it is very difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. Only those who have passed their lives in practicing the regulative principles of religion have acted powerfully, and who have conquered sinful reactions can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then gradually, they can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the process of being situated on the spiritual platform. This elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness in the association of pure devotees. For the association of great devotees, one can be delivered from delusion. It is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2 that if one actually wants to be liberated, he can render service to the devotees. Mahat Sevam Dwaram Aho Vimukte. But one who associates with materialistic people is on the path of leading to the darkest region of existence. Tambo Dwaram Yositam Sangam. All the devotees of the Lord traverse this earth just to recover the conditioned souls from their delusion. The impersonalists who do not know that forgetting their constitutional position as subordinate to the Supreme Lord is the greatest violation of God's law. Unless one is reinstated in his own constitutional position, it is not possible to understand the Supreme Personality or to be fully engaged in his transcendental loving service with determination. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Next. Jara marana mokshaya mam ashritya yatanti ye te brahma tadvido kritsnam adhyatmam karma chankilam. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Someone please read. Ramachandra Prabhu.
Prabhu, like I was asking a question about the previous test.
Okay, please ask Prabhu.
Yes, I think Prabhupada report. Prabhupada was saying, unless those who are finished with their sinful activities can accept devotional service. So it means that devotional service is not for everybody.
Yes, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, Prabhu. Devotional service is something which is very rarely achieved. Very rarely achieved. And in Kali Yuga, most of us achieve it because of mercy of devotees. Not that we are free from sinful reactions, but we have been causelessly allowed to engage in devotional service. But it is something which is very rare, very difficult. Only because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy mission, we are getting a chance because of that. Okay, Prabhu? Okay, yeah. So read this one, 29. Someone can read the puppet. Yes.
Birth, death, old age, and disease affect this material body, but not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, old age, and disease for the spiritual body. So one who attains the spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in eternal devotional service is really liberated. Aham Brahmasmi. I am spirit. It is said that one should understand that he is Brahman, spirit soul. The Brahman conception of the life is also in devotional service as described in this verse. The pure devotee are transcendentally situated on the Brahman platform and they know everything about transcendental activities. 4 kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals, and by the grace of Supreme Lord, when they are fully Krishna conscious, they actually enjoy spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of demigod never reach the Supreme Lord in his supreme planet. Even the less intelligent Brahman realized person cannot reach the supreme planet of the Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan. Only person who perform activities in Krishna consciousness, Mama Ashritya, are actually entitled to be called Brahman because they are actually endeavoring to reach the Krishna planet. Such persons have no misgiving about Krishna and thus they are factually Brahman. Those who are engaged in worshipping the form or ark of the Lord or who are engaged in meditation on the Lord simply for liberation from material bondage also know by the grace of the Lord the purpose the purport of Brahman, Abhibhuta, etc. are explained by the Lord in the next chapter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next verse, 30th. Sadhi bhutadi daivam mam sadhi yagyam cha ye vidhu Prayana kale picha mam te viduryukta chetasaha. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. Someone can quickly read this purport also, please. Why I'm not reading? Let me tell you why am I not reading. Because after this, I have 2 more classes and I have to talk for almost like 4 hours. So that's why I'm saving myself some energy.
Persons acting, sorry, Hare Krishna. Persons acting in Krishna consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Transcendental Association of Krishna Consciousness, one can understand how the Supreme Lord is the governing principle of the material manifestation and even of the demigods. Gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the time of death, such a Krishna conscious person can never forget Krishna. Naturally, he is thus promoted to the planet of the Supreme Lord, Goloka Vrindavan. This 7th chapter particularly explains how one can become a fully Krishna conscious person. The beginning of Krishna consciousness is association of persons who are Krishna conscious. Such association is spiritual and puts one directly in touch with the Supreme Lord. And by his grace, one can understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, understand the constitutional position of the living entity and how the living entity forgets Krishna and becomes entangled in material activities. By gradual development of Krishna consciousness in good association, the living entity can understand that due to forgetfulness of Krishna, he has become conditioned by the laws of material nature. He can also understand that this human form of life is an opportunity to regain Krishna consciousness, and that it should be fully utilized to attain the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. Many subjects have been discussed in this chapter: the man in distress, the inquisitive man, the man in want of material necessities, knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Paramatma, liberation from death, and diseases, and worship of the Supreme Lord. However, he who is actually elevated in Krishna consciousness does not care for the different processes. He simply directly engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness and thereby factually attains his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of Lord Krishna. In such a situation, he takes pleasure in hearing and glorifying the Supreme Lord in pure devotional service. He is convinced that by his doing so, all his objectives will be fulfilled. This determined faith is called Dradha Vrata, and it is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga, or transcendental loving service. That is the verdict of all scriptures. This 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the substance of that conviction. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Any questions, Prabhuji, Mataji? chapter is over now. We'll start new chapter tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, there is how we can control the sinful action, because every day we walk or we discuss or anything, it will be happen something, knowing or unknowing. So how we can control that sinful action?
So it is very simple. One has to refrain oneself from doing those sinful actions which are deliberately performed. When you are walking and then we are killing germs, when we are drinking water, we are killing germs. These are unavoidable sins. This cannot be controlled. Unavoidable. There are 5 sins which are unavoidable. 5 sins. So that no one can control. So that because we are practicing bhakti and we are doing other things like tulsi pradakshina and chanting holy names, doing ekadashi, they will become free from that eventually by itself. The sins that we have to remain free from is the one which is done deliberately. And it is in my control to stop doing it. That thing we have to stay. That thing we have to stop doing. Okay? Not the sin.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, I can't attend the class tomorrow. कल मैं इंडिया आ रही हूँ तो मैं attend नहीं कर सकती.
Okay.
So, Hare Krishna. I'll be there in Mira Road.
Acha, so please meet us, and then we can do the recording. You can see later on, no problem.
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll be staying in India for how long, Mataji?
1 month.
1 month, huh? Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. Fine. So other devotees, will see you tomorrow morning 7:30 your time, Ghana time, Nigeria 8:30. I'll be sharing the link with Salika Prabhu and Chaitanya Prem Prabhuji, and they will then put forward that link to all of you. We'll start with chapter 8 tomorrow. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada.